Alexander crumpled on the kitchen floor, sobbing. She'd forgotten he was due to come home for lunch. All she could think was how she wished he'd arrived sooner. The walls, which were decorated in bright, friendly colours, were lined with ads and pictures. Billy sat down on a big pink comfy sofa to wait until the receptionist finished talking on the phone. Even the music they were playing in the background was youthful and easy to listen to. She was flicking through a teen magazine when a friendly voice asked her if she needed help. "Oh, hi, I was just wondering if you had any counsellors here," she asked, trying to rush the words out before she could think too much. "Yes, we do. There is someone here now. Would you like to see her?" Billy wasn't expecting that answer, especially as she hadn't decided to speak to anyone. She was just making inquiries. The opportunity had arisen, and so she decided why not. The receptionist didn't ask any more questions apart from Billy's name before leading her through a corridor, then to the door of a small office. "Just a moment," the receptionist said, before disappearing into the room. She only had to wait a few seconds before being ushered into the office, but it was time enough to start having doubts. Behind the desk sat a middle-aged lady. She was plump, with rosy cheeks. But the thing that would stick in Billy's mind most about the introduction was how fashionably dressed the lady was. Her clothing was youthful, but in a tasteful way. The lady introduced herself as Molly and asked Billy to take a seat as she offered her a cup of tea. Billy accepted the warm, comforting chamomile drink and immediately relaxed. Once she started talking, she couldn't stop. All the hurt, frustration, and anger that had been trapped inside came pouring out, and she replayed everything that had occurred to bring her to the point of cutting herself and finally seeking help. "I can't understand why I stand out as a target. What can I do to change things? Do I have a bloody sign stamped on my head that says I'm easy?" Billy was certain the reason she was bullied through her junior years was that her mum was poor and used to buy her school uniform from charity shops. While the other children would show off their designer trainers, she'd be stuffing her worn-out shoes with newspapers, hoping the rain wouldn't soak her feet. It wasn't her fault she was poor, and yet it wasn't her mum that got teased and called names such as tramp and scab, hurtful names that stayed with her throughout her teens. And the bullying didn't stop, even when Billy moved in with her father and could suddenly afford to wear nice clothes and go on school trips. Billy had already been labelled, and it continued at every new school. Her thoughts were occupied almost constantly by the teasing and how alone she felt, even if other girls decided to include her once in a while. "I'm not a bad person, so why don't I have any friends? It's not like I want a lot out of life. Respect would be nice, and to have someone I could confide in. I wonder what it would be like to have a friend I could trust. Not just someone who's using me, but someone who genuinely enjoys my company." Billy's life seemed to only consist of being bullied, her thinking about being bullied. It got to the point where she became depressed, and would dream of hurting herself just to feel something else, and maybe to try and get someone to notice the pain she was in. But then the dreams became reality. Billy was now playing absent-mindedly with a knife, slowly dragging the blade across her wrist. She wasn't trying to kill herself, although she thought about it more than once. Even so, the knife was now in her hand, and she watched as the blade left marks on her skin. Her main object was to draw a little blood, but not enough to cause serious injury. After several attempts, she'd gone no further than scratches. "Just a bit harder," she willed. A sudden knock on the door shattered the deadly silence. "Is it that time already?" she mumbled impatiently while opening the front door to Leia, an Indian girl she walked to school with. Leia followed her into the living room. The knife lay on the coffee table. Billy picked it up and considered it for a moment. "It's a good job you showed up when you did," Billy said as she showed Leia the marks she'd managed to etch on her skin. "Why did you do that?" Leia asked. "Why not?" Billy shrugged, and she reached down to grab her school bag. "Did you want to kill yourself?" Leia questioned as they walked out of the house. "Why did you jump out of the classroom window?" Billy asked, referring to the first time they had met. She'd overheard some kids talking about an incident happen in an upstairs classroom, so she went to have a look. She felt sorry for Leia and helped her limp to Leia's dad's waiting car. They'd been walking to school together ever since. "I did it because I wanted to," Leia finally answered. "And were you trying to kill yourself?" "Don't answer that, because I know what you're going to say, that it was just something you had to do." Leia nodded. "Well then."